Hey everyone, today I'm going to be looking over a couple different air dribbling clips with players ranking from Platinum to Supersonic Legend. I'm going to be breaking them down. I'm going to talk about what they did well, what they did wrong, whether or not it was a good decision. And the goal of this is that you can apply some of these thoughts and techniques to your own game to improve your own air dribbles. Let's go. Okay, it took me a while, but I was finally able to find someone that looked like they were genuinely trying to do an air dribble in Platinum. This is a Platinum 2 2v2 lobby. This player gets a great setup for the air dribble to come in, and it's really, at this point, they have a decision to make on whether or not they want to pass out to the midfield, try to shoot, or if they want to, take a solo play like an air dribble. And they've seen that both of the opponents are down below them, so you actually have the whole field open. Because of that, I would actually say this is one of those rare times when you could pass to the midfield, just because you have all that open space, and normally twos, you want to stay away from that, but it kind of works here. So I don't know if the air dribble was the best choice, but I don't exactly expect a Platinum to have the kind of mechanics to pass this out to midfield consistently or to shoot consistently from here. I'm kind of okay with the choice to take it as a dribble. So where does this go wrong? Well, like I said earlier, the player actually gets a really good setup here. Some people might say they should have jumped off the wall earlier, but I think given that they were at 50 boost and they wanted to keep the pass option available, I think they left the wall at a fine time because the setup was still workable. In my opinion, the biggest mistake is the adjustment on the actual air dribble when they were catching the ball. So when you've got a ball up high like this and you've got the entire field to go, you really got to get underneath it. It looked like when they tried to adjust to get underneath it, they went a little bit too far and then pulled back too much and then it landed on their wheels. And at that point, it's essentially just kind of a dead ball. You're just waiting for it to fall because the opponent's able to easily see exactly where it's going to go. What I thought was interesting is that if you watch how they take off from the wall, the initial setup is perfect to just boost through and take all the way down the field. That tells me they have some experience with this, but maybe they've only been seeing these situations in free play or in training packs where they have unlimited boost because their setup didn't take into account that they were at half boost. Hey everyone, here's a quick tip on how to make sure this doesn't happen to you. You can do this in free play or in any training pack. I've just got one open here, and all I'm going to do is make sure that I vary my setup. So a couple times I might just go straight to the ball and then start my air dribble like this. Or I might take an extra curve around and then get underneath it. I might practice a couple times doing something with low boost where I have to get underneath the ball. It's all about getting different variations so that you don't have an issue like we just saw in game. Okay, moving into our Diamond group, we've got a Diamond 3 3v3 game that I think is a good example of how sometimes we can feel like we've made a good play without understanding the ripple effect that it has on our teammates. So here you're going to see the blue team has gotten a weak clear that's going to give our player a free possession, and they're going to take it up the left wall for an air dribble. Is that the right decision here? I think so. It makes sense considering that two players are essentially in net, one's on the backboard, and then the other is coming at them from the right. It makes sense to kind of put this over to the left in some space. Now, I don't know if you meant for the touch to be this heavy, but they take it up the left wall for an air dribble. It actually comes off pretty clean. You can see he beats the player on the backboard, and when it's this high, and you've got to come up to it, it's almost always going to be a backboard player for you. You're rarely going to get it all the way down to the net like you need to without some kind of sealing touch or flip reset or something. So he takes it to the back wall, and that looks like a good play, but then this teammate's not ready for it at all. And you'll see why if you watch his perspective. So the air dribble itself is great. The setup is good. The movement's clean, but his teammate wasn't expecting that. And by the time you're all the way over here to the back wall, the chances of this person just pinching it all the way to the right or something is way too high for you to be really committing hard. So he stops, and then it actually does turn out to be a good pass, but nobody's ready for it. Instead, they have a great opportunity to make this a backboard pass that's very clear to his teammate right in this moment. You can see you've already got the player on the backboard beat. You can front flip, and then that's going to be a very predictable and easy to score setup for your team. Okay, moving into Champion, I expect a lot of players at this rank have developed the mechanics enough to start to be comfortable with air dribbles, so you probably see them happening a lot more, especially in 2v2. My sense is also that Champion players maybe haven't developed the game sense to know when to air dribble versus another option. So this is a 2v2 lobby, and air dribbling in 2v2 in general, especially when players have some developed mechanics, is rarely a good choice because it takes you all the way to the other side of the field normally with no boost, and at best, you're probably getting a 50 out of it. So it's a rare time you would use it anyway. And right off the bat, we're going to see this player go for an off-the-ground air dribble. I think it was the wrong choice just because both players on the opposite team are retreating. He's got to go either to the backboard or to the net, and they're both going to be there. There's not a high chance of it getting through both of them, and he has the midfield wide open. So the player goes up for the air dribble, and their takeoff is a little bit too far to the left. I understand that's the direction that they probably want to push it, but they've immediately got to recover some ground to the right. They've got the right idea by air rolling, but they don't air roll well enough to adjust. You can see the player here just kind of holds down air roll all the way to the other side of the field. And now they've got no boost. Their teammates in a 2-on-1. This is an example probably of when you would not want to air dribble, and then mechanically saw some over rotation here. They need to slow their air dribbling down so they can actually hook around it enough for their boost to matter. Also, the bad takeoff here, it took like 60 boost of the full 100 that they had. So it was, from the very beginning, never going to be a positive air dribble. The best thing they could have done once they started it was to get out of it and start to recover and grab boost. All right, now we're moving into Grand Champion, and you're not going to see a lot of genuine air dribble attempts at this rank, especially in threes, because players are so fast and precise at this point that it becomes really easy to defend just a regular air dribble attempt without throwing in some kind of flip reset or stealing shots. So most of the time when you see like actual air dribbles at this rank, they're going to be defensive. They're going to be when players need to make a controlled touch or slow down the play. And that's exactly how this one starts. The player here can't really do anything except go up the left wall because both of his teammates are up and all three defenders on the blue team are ready or are actively challenging the ball. So they do a great job here of not slowing their path even though they have time. They approach it really quickly. And then right at the last second, they slow down to make a controlled touch. Now they have enough control on their air dribble that they're able to continue spinning and fake the first defender out. And once they've got it past the first defender, all they really have to do is just keep it up in the air as the defender comes in, and he's spinning around it, so it's really hard to read. And this is exactly what you expect from an air dribble for someone at this rank. The purpose when the player initially went up wasn't to score, but they were able to control the ball and keep it in their possession so well that it created a goal from that. And that's really, at the highest level, how air dribbles are used well. Finally, for our last clip, we have an air dribble shot from Dribbles. He's an SSL player, and what I really want you to focus on is how seamless things become. In order to be competitive at this level, you can't afford to spend time fighting with your mechanics, fighting with the angle for different touches. It's all got to be sharp so that when situations like you'll see happen in this clip come up, you can go straight to an offensive play. You can transition quickly, and that's exactly what happens here. You're going to see Dribbles receive a pass, and I don't think his intention is to touch the ball up in the air this high. It looks like he was actually trying to send it into the midfield and dribble it. If he sees this, he can let me know. Regardless, he gets this touch where the ball is bouncing all the way to the ceiling, and Dribbles sees the opportunity right away from the bounce. You can see he immediately sets up to go off the wall and only stays on the wall long enough to get enough momentum to catch up to it. By the time he catches up to the ball, he's only used like 30 boost and he's got the rest to work with. So the immediate recognition of the play allowed him to get there so quickly and in such a good position. And at this point, you know, it might as well be free play. He just rolls it in, uses his boost all the way to the top corner. He's got enough of a lift from recognizing the play so quickly that he's just able to take it in. One of the rare situations where you would find an SSL player actually opting for the air dribble over something else. And that's it for the video today. Thanks everybody for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments if you like this style of video and what other mechanics you might want to see me break down. I'll see you in the next one.